New York driving in for a scoop shot, no good. The rebound's taken by Pollard, and here come the Lakers.
12 players who forced rule changes in the NBA. The NBA has some rules and regulations that must be strictly observed when playing the game. These guidelines manage the play, procedures, and presiding over the game. But there have been times when these rules have been changed to make the game fair for every player. Today, we are talking about 12 players who forced rule changes in the NBA. But before we hop into the details, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends. Number 12. Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was without a doubt one of the most dominant NBA players throughout his basketball career, as he was the only player to have scored 100 points in a single game. Not only this, but he is known to own the record for most NBA records. Due to his dominance, the league has made several changes in their rulebook, such as they widened the lane from 12 to 16 feet, as well as introducing offensive goaltending and interference. Besides, they forbid to inbound the rock over the backboard, as Wilt constantly received lobs to dunk on inbounds, and they also prohibited players from crossing the free throw line during an FT, as Wilt constantly did to dunk and get 2 points instead of 1.
Boston all the time, sleep in my bed, eat the food, sleep in my bed, and go out there and whip my butt. Understand? And my mother.
Number 11. Reggie Miller. Miller became famous because of his tireless and consistent three-point shooting. The talented basketball player was able to pull up or catch and shoot from anywhere on the floor to score three-pointers, being the first player to be a threat from downtown throughout the entire existence of the league.
Into the league, I was only 175, 180 pounds, so I wasn't the biggest or strongest guys.
Also, Miller was quite smart and cunning, so he regularly kicked out to draw contact against everyone that guarded him past the arc on the basketball field, continually drawing 3 free throws regardless of whether his defender touching him or not, so the league restricted that leg kick while shooting. Number 10. Shaquille O'Neal. O'Neal is the most dominant center during his career in the history of basketball. He showed no liability or mercy on the defense or offense and was able to score 30 points with 4 balls with great ease, as if he was playing against rookies. People have tried to foul him but only made a fool of themselves in the process. O'Neal made the league change the materials of the backgrounds. For instance, they changed how zone defense was played and even changed one rule, the hack-a-Shaq. That meant players couldn't intentionally foul opposing players that didn't have the ball in their hands during the last 2 minutes of the game, or they would reward the opposing team with 2 free throws and the ball. After Shaq brought down a couple of basketball supports,
in the morning, I gotta go get 4 or 5 TVs, I gotta go get printers, I gotta go get laptops.
The NBA hired a team in 1993 that would inspect the bolts and screws of every basketball support, including the backboard and hoop. This ensured that the standard equipment could withstand more force. Number 9. Charles Barkley. Barkley is responsible for changing the 5-second rule, which states that players have 5 seconds to make an offensive move and not just sit there backing down their defenders and faking passes and reading the defense for 20 seconds.
Like that. I mean, you're talking about the same guy. We were doing a tribute.
Barkley would actually use his butt to post defenders for as long as 20 seconds before actually shooting the ball. So in response to that, the league stated that no player below the free throw line could actually do this for longer than 5 seconds. Number 8. Rajon Rondo. Rajon Pierre Rondo is an American professional basketball player for the Atlanta Hawks of the National Basketball Association. He is responsible for a less impactful rule change that did not allow players to wear their headbands upside down, as Rajon Rondo loved to do.
Team when we want to be, we try to make emphasis on attacking the paint. They don't have many or any great shots.
As of 2010, headbands must now be worn with the logo facing the right way, right side up, and facing forward. Number 7. Trent Tucker. Trent Tucker is known as one of the great three-point shooters in the NBA and played for several teams, including the world champ Chicago Bulls in 1993.
Lead is 17. Now quickly it can go from 20 to 12 and now up to...
After Trent Tucker hit a three-point shot with just 1/10 of a second remaining on the clock to defeat the Chicago Bulls in Madison Square Garden, the NBA stepped in. So, a new basketball rule came out in 1990, the Trent Tucker rule, which forbids players from shooting off an inbound pass with less than 0.3 seconds left on the clock. Number 6. Larry Bird. The Bird exception, named after Larry Bird, is a rule included in the NBA's collective bargaining agreement that allows teams to go over the salary cap to re-sign their own players. A player who qualifies for the Bird exception, formerly referred to as qualifying veteran free agent, is said to have bird rights. They are named so because the Boston Celtics were the first team permitted to exceed the salary cap to re-sign one of their own players. Larry Bird. Number 5. Dwayne Wade. Known as D-Wade, or Flash, Dwayne Wade became one of pro basketball's elite guards, leading the Heat to championships in 2006.
From shooting down like this to being taller and changing my shot.
2012 and 2013. Wade was known around the league for starting the trend of jumping into players before releasing a close shot to the basket, therefore leaving room and airtime to be able to exaggerate physical contact by the defensive player. The NBA instituted a rule Wade pump fake jumping into the midair defender to create contact. He can no longer jump into them. They must jump into you. So if the defender goes straight up, they can't call a foul. Number 4. Allen Iverson. The NBA was concerned about how their players looked on the bench, particularly players in baggy street clothes, and how their fashion choices reflected on the NBA's perception. The NBA dress code came out of that in 2005, which stated that no chains, sunglasses, headgear, headphones, or outside jerseys were allowed. Another in-game rule Iverson changed was when he inspired the league to have officials pay more attention to palming of the ball. There was something a bit unfair about Iverson's crossover, and it turned out that it might have been illegal.
It's nothing personal or anything like that, and I'm cool with that. I'm all about that.
Number 3. Derek Harper. Harper is one of the most decorated Mavericks in the franchise's history and is responsible for the hand-checking rule. This new rule was introduced to curtail hand-checking used most famously by Harper. The rule states that a defender cannot place and keep his hand on an opponent unless he is in the area near the basket with his back to the basket. A defender may momentarily touch an opponent with his hand anywhere on the court if it does not affect the opponent's movement. Hand-checking was disallowed after the 2004 finals.
Truly say is that my teammates.
Number 2. Rasheed Wallace. There is no denying Rasheed Wallace's skill on the basketball court. The one-time 4th pick in the NBA draft is a 2-time All-Star, and he has averaged 15.8 points and 6.9 rebounds per game during his career. Though not directly and explicitly attributed to Wallace, he was the top of mind when the NBA instituted the rule that when a player accumulated 16 technical fouls in the regular season, they would get a 1-game suspension. Every additional 2 techs equals 1 game. 7 techs for playoffs equals 1 game, and every additional 2 techs equals another game. Rasheed Wallace had 41 technical fouls in the 2000-2001 season, and so he had to have been a major factor with this reputation as the king of technical for the rule change.
Every long shot, the Pistons are scoring 2 ways this evening.
Number 1. George Mikan. George Mikan is lauded as one of the biggest pioneers of modern-age basketball. Before him, it was widely believed taller people make inferior basketball players because of lack of speed and agility. The 6'9" Mikan's big man game was so unique that the NBA had to institute a number of rule changes to keep up. Perhaps the biggest one is the goaltending rule that resulted from his ability to catch the ball on its way down to the rim at the defensive end, as well as the widening of the paint area from 6 to 12 feet.
New York driving in for a scoop shot, no good. The rebound's taken by Pollard, and here come the Lakers.
When you place the best players in the same league, any edge on the court and off is necessary to succeed. However, sometimes those advantages or loopholes need to be regulated to maintain the game's integrity and enjoyment. In general, the rule changes help to make the player more well-rounded. It shows that being forced to learn new skills can lead to a better performance. If you liked this video, then make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos in the future. Also, hit the bell icon to stay up to date and be the first one to watch our latest videos.